So good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the Elder Pride Services Awards today. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Maya Chamberlain, and I'm the Executive Director at Friendly House. And for anyone new, in a nutshell, Elder Pride Services supports LGBTQ+ older adults to live active, independent, authentic lives without fear of discrimination or mistreatment. Elder Pride Services is the only program in Oregon that provides the breadth of services specifically designed by and for LGBT+ elders.
That's right.
Thank you, Joe. EPA offers a holistic, person-centered approach to supporting people in the ways that they choose to be supported. From community building events like parties and socials and peer support groups to one-on-one case management, options counseling, information and referral, family caregiver assistance for more vulnerable and isolated folks. And before I get too far, it would be impossible for me to be up here today without acknowledging that many of us are feeling anxious and uncertain about what the future holds for ourselves, our friends, our families, and our community. Every time we scroll through social media or turn on the news, we are confronted with headlines that stir fear, raise critical questions about trans-inclusive healthcare, resources for underserved communities, women's health, marriage equality, the implications of reducing Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP benefits, protections for immigrants and refugees, our freedoms of speech and peaceful protest, and so many other rights that we depend on. The constant flood of information can leave us anxious and overwhelmed and unsure of what comes next. I wish I could stand here today and offer predictions or promises that would erase all of those fears, and I can't. What I can do is reassure you of what I do know. Friendly House receives very little federal funding, and what we do receive is largely protected by state and local laws. Any attempt to undo this funding will take time, and if there comes a day when we do lose these resources, I have full faith in this community to rise to the occasion. We have always shown up for one another, and I know we will again. But more importantly, let me say this very clearly. Friendly House's commitment to inclusivity is not dependent on who's in the White House. Our commitment is grounded in 95 years of building a thriving, diverse, and resilient community. We will continue to center people who face extraordinary barriers: LGBTQ elders, Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, immigrants and refugees, the unhoused, the differently abled, single parents, and low-income families. Our work will not wither and shrink back. We will only grow louder and stronger. And let me be absolutely clear, our trans and non-binary community will never be made invisible in this house. We see you, we honor you, and we are here for you. And no human being is illegal in this house. We will work to protect our staff, our members, our families from all unjust policies. And Black and brown lives matter in this house. We welcome, celebrate, and uplift all Black, Indigenous, and people of color to fully participate and thrive in this community. These are not radical ideas. They are proven truths about what builds strong communities: equity, compassion, and belonging. This is the heart of Friendly House, and it will remain so no matter what political storms we face. Together, we will continue to adapt, to protect one another, and to ensure that our community not only survives, but thrives. I invite each of us to take a breath, be here, safe in this moment, gathered together to celebrate all of the people and partners that help me to feel so certain and positive about our shared future. And before getting to our honorees, we have some folks that I'd like to introduce. EPS staff who are here. Rebecca Blair, could you raise your hand? EPS engagement coordinator. Alex Maresca, our new training, advocacy, and outreach specialist. Raise your hand, please. Echo Taylor, are you here? Yeah, EPS program assistant and Opal engagement specialist. And Kian Anus, are you here? Not Anus, thank you. Not here. And that is Lana Landy, our fearless leader and our director of community services. I'm also wondering if anybody who is on the advisory committee or housing committee might just stand up for a moment to be recognized. Yeah. I'm not done. There's more. And then we have some board members here who I really want to thank. And please stand up. We do. We have several board members. And I want to acknowledge a special guest. We have Commissioner Megan Moyer. Are you still here? Yay. And speaking of all of the support in this room, I have this distinct pleasure of thanking our incredible sponsors who have made this event possible. Washington County Aging, Disability, and Veteran Services, The Standard, Glenn Ulmer and Marcelo Santaban, Home First Development, The Watermark, House Call Providers, Pizza Thief and Bandit Bar, and Oakshire Brewing. Thank you. And today we honor our community members whose dedication to the LGBTQ elder community has made a significant difference. You're all here to help us celebrate these fantastic folks, so let's get going. First up, we have our Legacy Award. The Legacy Award goes to an individual, group, or business that has made a substantial financial contribution to Elder Pride services, allowing us to maintain or grow services and programs benefiting our elders. And this year, we're thrilled to present the Legacy Award to the Ed Cauduro Fund of Oregon Community Foundation. To introduce this year's award recipient, please welcome Monique Eldridge, Friendly Houses Development Director.
So Ed Cauduro was known for having one of the finest contemporary art collections in Oregon. He also was one of the state's most generous philanthropists. Ed donated more than 36 paintings and works of art to the Portland Art Museum in his lifetime. And these were actually paintings that they wanted to hang up and display. I could do that too, but it wouldn't be the same. So just want to clarify. Giving back was a priority for him. Ed unfortunately passed away from cancer at age 83 in 2010. But prior to his death, he made sure that his legacy of giving would live on through the Ed Cauduro Fund of the Oregon Community Foundation. The Ed Cauduro Fund is directed mainly towards the arts, animal welfare, services for people who are homeless, providing food to hungry people, and LGBTQ causes. It supports over 30 organizations each year, including Friendly Houses Elder Pride Services. Since 2019, the Ed Cauduro Fund has supported our work and encouraged others to contribute as well. Ed's dear friend, Dane Nelson, who advises the fund, is himself a very savvy philanthropist, and he knows that the only thing better than a donation is a double donation. So this year, Ed's fund is offering to match up to $10,000 of donations for Elder Pride services. So if you choose to make a gift tonight, or perhaps you already have, That gift will be doubled thanks to the estate planning of a man who wanted to make a difference, not just during his lifetime, but for the future. We'd like to give our sincere thanks to Jennifer Olson Curry of the Oregon Community Foundation, Dane Nelson, and of course, Ed Cauduro.
Our next award is for our Agent of Change. The Agent of Change Award is given to a business or individual who is setting the pace with new ideas to improve services, visibility, and quality of life for LGBTQ+ elders. This year's winner is Washington County Disability, Aging, and Veterans Services. And to introduce this year's award, please welcome Lana Landy.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right, good. Washington County's Department of it's backwards. Sorry, y'all. I know Multnomah County does it backwards. Disability, Aging, and Veteran Services, DAVS, has been partnering with Elder Pride Services since we first began working to support LGBTQ+ older adults in Washington County. And probably before that too, but that's when I know. Their support has only increased throughout the years, planning for the opening of the Opal, the first affordable apartment building in Oregon built for LGBTQ+ older adults. Under Rebecca Miller's thoughtful collaborative leadership, DAFS has partnered with EPS on intergenerational events, a resource fair, social and community engagement, and more over the past several years, in addition to their sponsorship support of events like this one today. And while Rebecca herself is truly fantastic to work with and the kind of professional that I aspire to be when I grow up someday, what has really struck me is that every time I've reached out to someone on the DAVS team, they are responsive, professional, and kind. From running questions by Zach on their OPI in-home services team, picking the brain of Elaine, one of their resource specialists, or apologizing for delays in getting a report to Kara, the behavioral health program coordinator, everyone has been so collaborative and thoughtful, and so genuinely pleased to join with us in supporting the LGBTQ+ older adults in their community. It's been our honor to collaborate with your team, and we're looking forward to many more opportunities. If you want, all or one of you can come up. I will give you your...
Hey.
Thank you. This means a lot. I've been working with Friendly House since I was at Multnomah County, so it's been about 11 years now, maybe more, I don't know. But it means a lot. Starting with one of my first days on the job, I got to sit in on listening to someone tell me why I didn't get a grant that I didn't write, but I heard that, and it was around HIV awareness and how we didn't listen to the community. And that started something, and so I think that's what I've seen in my staff is they're listening. I think what you said is none of this is revolutionary, this is just what we know. And so I think just continuing to listen, be steady presence, and just do what the people say. So we'll keep doing that, and like what you said about Friendly House, we're very much in Washington County committed to this community. It's our community, it's my community. We have room on our advisory council, so I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't pitch our advisory council. Pick up our volunteers, new volunteers. But thank you so much. It means so much coming from such a quality organization under all your leadership. Thank you, Kara, for all your work all the years, and our staff is amazing. And you named so many of them, but there's about 26 others that are out there working. So thank you.
Too busy listening and I didn't turn the page. Okay, here we are. Next, we have the Community Spotlight Award. The Community Spotlight Award is presented to an individual or volunteer group who have used their time, talents, and talents to support Elder Pride services and those we serve. Please join me in congratulating Michael Simon. Here, right? No. Oh, okay. Help me in welcoming Rebecca Blair of Elder Pride Services.
I always love giving awards to humble people because they don't show up. And then I have to read it to them later under duress. It's fine. It's fine. Michael will hear this dedication even if I have to track him down. It's going to happen. For years, Michael Simon has been a participant, a donor, a volunteer, and an advocate for this program and several other area organizations. He has an East Coast sensibility about him that perhaps can make him seem more aloof than he really is. But he deeply cares about others and about this community, and it shows. Michael has a unique way of helping us expand our viewpoints by asking some difficult questions sometimes and making the right connections. Without Michael advocating at various tables, sharing his voice in favor of expanding support for LGBTQ+ elders in Washington County, the work we are doing today would look very different. And his support for various events, in his feedback, donations, and devoted time as a volunteer, it makes him a worthy recipient of this year's spotlight. A big thank you to Michael. He deserves all the flowers.
Now I turned the page too soon, trying to be proactive. Okay, our next awards are for our local heroes. The Local Heroes Award goes to individuals, businesses, or groups who have been an exceptional partner for Elder Pride services. This year's Local Heroes Award winners are the Lower Columbia Estuary Partnership, the Pharmacy, and Our Bold Voices. Welcome back, Rebecca.
You're stuck with me for 3 more, sorry. First, Lower Columbia Estuary Partnership. Being able to see our home city from the water is an extraordinary thing for anyone to experience, but it means even more for those to take that trip with an educator from the Lower Columbia Estuary Partnership. We learn so much about the plants and animals who live in and around these waters, as well as the work being done to maintain and preserve this wild river neighbor that happens to live within our urban landscape. And this group of researchers, scientists, and educators do so much more than just educate and take people on big canoes. They're massive. They are dedicated to studying 146 miles of the Columbia, with a watershed that includes 28 cities and 9 counties within the states of Oregon and Washington. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And a lot of people of all ages to educate about this beautiful river. We are proud to honor that work tonight. It isn't easy to get 20+ people of any age into and out of a canoe safely and wearing big smiles at the end of it all. You know you have a good event and a good partner when people start asking you in January or February, when is EPS doing the canoe trip again? Because I'm telling you now that I want to go. Me too. A big thank you to all the staff at Lower Columbia Estuary Partnership. We have Sam and Mackenzie here, if you'd like to come up.
Well, I just want to say we do a lot of trips, and this is honestly one of our favorite ones. Often I'm like, put me on it, put me on it. It's just so lovely. There's so much interest and honestly so much knowledge that comes with the community that I love. Yeah, so really, thank you so much for this.
Next we have the Pharmacy, and I'm pretty sure that nobody made it, but I'm going to read it anyway. Apologies for getting a little personal with this one, but the Pharmacy is my local bar. It is where I go with friends to hang out, share our woes over a pint, and just be ourselves. And maybe convince some unsuspecting people to try my hometown drink, Chicago's own Malort. It's like gasoline, but it's fun. Before the pandemic, my group of friends and I, we had a great spot. The staff was welcoming. We felt the community was amazing. But after reopening, things were a little off. The owner eventually stopped paying his bills, then the mostly queer staff, then the drag queens, and I don't know how you don't pay drag queens. He skipped town. We lost our home. along comes the pharmacy. Those unpaid drag queens, Pharmacy picked them right up and scheduled them for regular monthly shows, and they're all still performing there. We moved our community right on over, and we just never looked back. When EPS was looking to find a new location for regular monthly social, plenty of suggestions came up, and we did a trial run of a few spots. We let participants vote on their favorites, and there were some great places, honestly. But I knew folks would love the Pharmacy for all the reasons I do. The beautiful space they've created, the friendliness of everyone there, and as soon as I asked Brian, the owner, about hosting us, he didn't hesitate. We found our home. Thanks to everyone at the Pharmacy. Special call out to Zoe, who takes care of us every time and makes us feel so welcome. All right, now here's a bigger one. We actually have people here for this one, I promise. All right. Through our bold voices, Paul Arabino has made it his mission to get people heard. From organizing storytelling events to 3 amazing books, this project has helped its audiences connect with stories and LGBTQ+ voices that are so seldom featured in our world's daily howling narrative. For this most recent anthology project, Defiant Moments, I had the pleasure of being a peer reader before drafts were finalized. Paul was trying to cajole me into writing a story too, but I pushed back and said I didn't have the time, so I would just read. Well, just read is a lot. I have a confession to make. The pandemic took away my ability to read for pleasure. For whatever reason, I've struggled to make it through a chapter of anything since 2020. I thought maybe signing on for this project might help me, and it did. This book and its vulnerable, beautiful writers helped me enjoy reading again. Early in the morning, I would curl up on my couch with a cup of coffee and a new story. Before reading these pieces, I rarely knew the author or didn't know them well. By the end, they were friends sharing moments where they decided enough was enough, that they needed to stand up and be heard, be counted, be known. What a joy and how compelling and inspiring it was to read these kinds of stories at dawn. It can really change how you move through your day. People always say it's easiest to write what you know, but to write about your personal moments of defiance in this world as part of this community, and I'm going to say it again, in this world. These are stories we need at a time when it does not pay to be defiant, and yet we simply can't afford to do without them. To paraphrase the book's tagline, by sharing their unyielding queer voices, not just in the book, but at countless events, they have brought unstoppable change in those who read their stories. We have a few of the fearless writers here tonight accepting with our bold voices for Paul and Arnell. Please help me honor them tonight.
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you so much, and that was such a beautiful, I'm so glad that we could inspire you to read it. I feel that deeply, so keep reading, keep telling stories, keep listening to each other, okay? Yeah, thank you so much.
Maya, folks are wanting to know what's in the box. Do you want to
Oh,
share?
what's in the box? Okay, these are beautiful glass, handmade from, I have her name,
Rachel
Rachel Esco.
She has donated them all, a local glass artist.
Designed them and
birds
donated them.
and roses.
Very sweet. They're beautiful.
As unique and valuable as all of it.
Okay. So I have the extraordinary privilege of sharing our final award of the evening, which is our Lifetime Achievement Award. The Lifetime Achievement Award goes to someone who has used their time, talents, and resources to impact LGBTQ+ issues over their lifetime. And this year's recipient is Cach. You don't get through a volunteer recognition event without people talking about time, talent, treasures to a worthy cause. However, these qualities only scratch the surface when we think about our Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, the late Pat Cach. Pat embodied truth, creativity, compassion, humor, joy, and an unshakable love for her community. I've had the honor of knowing Pat for the past 15 years, but it wasn't until attending her memorial service recently where I got to hear from so many people who have known her for decades, as well as the bits and pieces that I learned as I was preparing for these remarks. And it was then that I could almost begin to appreciate her full contributions to the LGBT community over her lifetime. Born and raised in Portland, Pat brought her unorthodox sense of humor, artistic flair, and her love of fun to everything she did. In 1962, she began her community journey by supporting the Irvland Florists fast-pitch softball team, traveling with them to the World Series in Connecticut. But Pat was not just a superfan. She became the team's unofficial historian. Her oral history, which was recorded by the Oregon Historical Society, captures the spirit of the team and the cultural impact of their home field, Oregon's first and only sports facility built primarily for a women's major league team. Irvland Field became more than a ballpark. It was a haven for inclusivity and a gathering place for Portland's LGBT community, especially during the Lavender Scare. Thanks to voices like Pat's, the field was officially listed on the National Registry of Historic Places in 2024, honoring its legacy in women's sports and the LGBTQ plus history. That spirit of teamwork, inclusivity, and belonging never left her. By 1973, Pat had turned her creative energy towards music, co-founding the Portland Women's Jug Band. For nearly 4 decades, she and her bandmates performed at festivals, private gatherings, weddings, picnics in Laurelhurst Park. Each year, they capped the summer off with their unforgettable performance at the Portland Marathon, where they were voted most inspirational band. That honor was not just about the music. It was about how Pat lifted people up through humor, joy, expression, and connection. And Pat was not one to sit still. It kept going, and into the 70s, when social outlets for lesbians were almost non-existent, she organized a Friday night rap group, a safe, affirming space where women could support each other, share struggles, and strengthen community ties. And then in 1978, she helped to create Women in Transition, which was a groundbreaking program for displaced homemakers to build new life skills. And in her role as intake coordinator, Pat not only helped hundreds of women change the course of their lives, she also met her lifetime partner, Lou. Pat and Lou shared 38 years together in deep, loving partnership. Pat was quoted as saying that her greatest achievements were relational ones, with her creator, with Lou, with her family, and with the women's community she so tirelessly nurtured. And in her own words, I feel blessed. And blessed we have been to be a part of her creativity, her boundless energy and generosity, and her 50+ years of dedication to Portland women and LGBTQ community. Her legacy lives on in every song sung, every kazoo ever blown, every safe space carved out, and every life touched by her indomitable spirit. Tonight, it is our honor to posthumously present the Elder Pride Services Lifetime Achievement Award to Pat Cach.
Yeah.
May we carry forward her spirit of creativity and joy and connection, and may we always remember her as a builder of community, love, and belonging. And it is my pleasure to bring up Sharon Gallia, who is a longtime friend and of Pat's, to say a few words.
Well, in behalf of the Cach family, many, many thanks to this community, to Friendly House. It's been a real pleasure to be a friend of Pat's for 50 years. One of the things that I think about in these perilous times of political strife is something that Pat had a deep spiritual bend. That was the dynamo that made her art, that made her music, that made her kazoo work, that made this sweater. Pat was deeply a spiritual person. She wouldn't say she was religious, but I would like to read something that I believe embodies this woman, my friend. Learning how to love is the goal and the purpose of spiritual life. Not learning how to develop psychic powers, not learning how to bow or chant, do yoga, or even meditate, but learning to love. Love is the truth. Love is the light. And she would ask us to travel in the light, get in there and fight the good fight with an open heart.
And I just want to say, we haven't done this before, but I would really like to invite Pat. It does not surprise me one bit. I just want to invite friends of Pat's to come up and say a word or two. We don't have a ton of time, but I know there were so many amazing stories that came out of her memorial, and if there are people who wanted to share one or two, I just wanted to be sure we had an opportunity to do that. A couple of people.
I will speak for Betty, because Betty's shy.
Betty's far from shy. Bring her the mic, just make fun.
My name is Jack Danger, and I am your personal park ranger. And I've known Pat, I knew Pat for many, many years, but when you talk about relational things, Pat introduced, she had a moment where she saw this one woman and said to herself, oh, I got a babe for you. And she introduced her to my friend Betty. And Betty and Mary were together for a short but profound, magical 5 years. And Pat had just a sense of people coming together, and it was a beautiful thing, so blah, blah.
Pat said, all water is holy water. So just think about that.
The first time I met Pat was at a lunch, and she was sitting on one side and her partner Lou was next to me. I was already in trouble. So for dessert they gave us these pears cut in half, and somehow between Lou and I there were 6 of them. And she bumps me and says, what do they remind you of? And I said, pears, why? What do they remind you of? And she goes, boobs. So all of a sudden she winks at Pat, and Pat goes, you two are talking about sex. That's my girlfriend. Now I'm shaking. And Lou taps me on the shoulder about 5 minutes later and says, what's your name? I said, Claudia. She goes, we just taught you a very important lesson. I said, what's that? She goes, never get caught. And Pat made me this shirt when my partner died. And she knew I loved giraffes, and she goes, I don't want you to ever be alone. And she gave me this and a stuffed giraffe.
They're on your head.
Thank you. Hey, here comes the kind of day.
Anybody else? I don't want to rush them.
I'm coming.
Here comes Patty. Here comes. You want to go ahead? Kristen.
Well, I'm Kristen now, but I just wanted to mention that I have some photographs that include Pat. And when I went to the memorial that was in the park right after Pat died, there was a photographer there named Avery McGinn, who is a good friend of Pat's from a long time ago. And Avery used to be in our community here in the 70s and took a lot of pictures of our community, especially of sports things. So she subsequently sent me this picture of lesbian softball teams, Lavender Menace. It says Lavender Menace and Lavender Menace 2, which were the two, I mean, they both had the same name, but the second team was called Lavender Menace 2, T-O-O. And this is a group picture of both of the teams from 1975. So I'm going to hold it up here. This is, she sent me this for the newly organizing Portland Lesbian Archives, which we're working on through the Oregon Queer History Collective. Yeah. In 1976, Avery made this calendar, A Year with Women. It was the bicentennial year, and all of these are pictures of hers. It's all hand calligraphed, but it has beautiful pictures of lesbians. Lesbians, that's Kathy Bethel. She was in the Family Circus Theater, and that was one of her outfits. This is I think this was at Woman's Share. This is a women's land in Southern Oregon. This is Bess. This was a person that came through, and this is two women. Yeah, and this is Pat. That's Pat. This is Pat, dressed up in a military outfit, sort of, with a bicycle. Very cute pose picture.
Oh, yes.
Is there an Levens? What's her name? Janet. I can't remember her.
I can't either, but I know.
She was sitting on the softball bench there. Here's the jug band. This is the jug band. You can look at that. This is Pat over here with the kazoo. What else do we have? Juggling on Sauvie Island. This is a bunch of family circus jugglers. Here, I don't know this woman's name. I forget her name, but with her dog. There's Sarah Packer and Elsie Ernest in their house down in Brooklyn neighborhood.
Hague Street.
Yeah, Hague Street. There's Pat with the violin.
Wow.
Okay, so you can come up and look at these. I'll have them in the back. Look at them.
Hello, my name is Patty Bay, and I've known Pat Cach since 1966. And, oh yeah, I'm shorter, aren't I? Yeah. I've known Pat since 1966, and when I met her, I was just starting out with my very first engagement with a woman. And I did not know what role that Pat would play in my life. I did not realize that, how many years is that? Almost 60 years later, I would still be up, or would even be up here honoring her. Pat was the most creative person that I ever met in my whole life. There isn't anything that she couldn't put her hand to and create beauty with. including music. She was one of the goofiest people I've ever known as well. And so whenever we played, if you really got stuck or something, you would just kind of look at Pat and she would just kind of pick up on, make something crazy about it and take off with it. And so then you can make it work. But the Portland Women's Jug Band was fun. We had fun for 35 years, long time. And of course, most of us are gone now. But I can sit up here and say that the Portland Marathon was probably the most inspirational thing we did every year. And we were voted the most inspirational band because you think about a marathon, people are running by. Well, by the time they got to the 23rd mile, which is where they always would put us, everybody's about ready to fall over. So Lou would get up and she'd go out there with her tambourine and get everybody going running again. And everybody be all energized and they'd be running down the street, you know. But we would start to play at whatever time we saw our first runner, and we wouldn't quit playing till the last runner came. And I played the washboard and sang, and I'll tell you, I thought my fingers were going to fall off. But it was truly wonderful to know Pat all those years, and she was an angel. She's up there doing her good works even now. So we'll always remember her in so many different ways. Thank you all.
Anybody else? I know. Yeah, come on up.
Cindy. Well, the funniest part is that Pat was a joker. Y'all know her, you know she jokes a lot. Well, I had to stretch her arm when I started the Rainbow Arts Project in my nonprofit foundation to actually do something for me. And you know she makes hats. And everyone's probably looking at this lady and said, what? Who's that lady? Well, I thought we could end the night on hearing Pat and what she said on her outtakes from my documentary that we made for our mentor program. And it's very short. You really need to listen to the very first part to understand the very last part. So if Ryan can make sure it's as loud as possible, listen carefully. Don't look at the camera work because remember, B films are outtakes. They're not important for the documentary. So just because my camera's moving all over the place has nothing to do with my talents. Right. So thank you everyone for sharing what you've shared about Pat. We miss her so much. I drove by her house today. It's blue and her car's gone and I cried.
Thank you all for helping us to honor and celebrate these heroes of Elder Pride Services. And can we have one more round of applause for these incredible people? And that almost concludes tonight's awards, but we would like you to ask you to consider the many ways that you too can contribute to improving the lives of LGBTQ adults in our community. There are so many ways to make a big difference. You can like us on Facebook or sign up for the newsletter, become a friendly visitor to an isolated, more vulnerable older adult, consider becoming a member of our housing committee or advisory council, and donating. And if in fact you were considering a gift to Elder Pride Services today, today is the best time to make it. All donations made today to Elder Pride Services will be matched up to $10,000 by the Ed Cauduro Fund of the Oregon Community Center. Everybody should have received a pledge form this evening. And that will have all the information you need if you choose to make a contribution. If you did not, but you would like one, could you please raise your hand and Monique and Rachel will bring one around. Or you can visit the information table too. And if you have filled your form out, you can either drop it off at the information table or give it to Rachel and Monique, who are right there. And anyone who donates tonight, visit the registration table for your free EPS tote bag as a token of our gratitude. We want to give a huge thanks again to Rachel Esco, the incredibly talented local glass artist who created and donated the gorgeous awards for each winner. And thank you again for being fabulous and being here. We appreciate you.